So today I want to talk about the final map coming to Vanguard Zombies. I know, a very exciting subject, but the reason I want to talk about it is because I don't know if you guys realize, but this is going to be the last official Zombies content that we're going to be getting till 2024. Yeah, for 2 years, this is the last of it. After this, we're not seeing anything for a very long time. And oh my gosh, is that a haunting thought. Regardless though, this is exactly why I want to talk about it, but what exactly do I want to talk about in terms of this map? Well, what that is expectations for this map, what the map is probably going to be like when we end up getting it. Now, to have a complete disclaimer at the start, obviously I haven't seen the map itself, but I think we get a pretty good idea of how this map is going to be built based on what we've seen so far from Vanguard Zombies. And I guess with all that said, let's kind of get into these different things. And to start this all off, I think the first thing we should talk about is what is this map going to be made of. And I worded it like that on purpose because there ain't no way this is going to be an original map. Like, get that out of your head. If you thought that this was going to be built on original stuff, not being reused from different areas of the game, it's just not going to happen. Just get that thought out of your head. So what exactly will they reuse? Well, I actually made a separate video going into complete depth of all the things they could reuse from campaign multiplayer and all the other aspects of the game. And if you guys want to check it out, it'll be linked on screen right now. But just to quickly run through it is that since this map is based in Egypt, we could look at different aspects of this game that have been based in Egypt. And believe it or not, there's 2 multiplayer maps and there's 2 campaign missions. What I think will probably end up happening is that they'll probably just pick up things from all 4 of these different things. Both the multiplayer maps and both the campaign missions, they'll try to take things from all of them, and from there they'll make one cohesive, or at least hopefully cohesive map that will be maybe fun to play on. And the reason why I think they'll kind of cherry pick different areas from all these different places is because, you know, some are multiplayer maps and you can't really easily turn those into zombies maps. And then with the campaign maps is that one of the campaign missions has actually already been reused in Terra Maldicta. So if they did heavily reuse that mission again, it'd be kind of like, you know, double dipping, which I wouldn't put past them doing, but, you know, maybe I don't think they would do it again. And then the final campaign mission, you would think that's what they would mainly use, but the problem with that campaign mission is mainly just an open deserty area. Don't get me wrong, there's one area that 110% they're going to reuse, but that is a small area, so they can't really make a full map out of it. So kind of brings me back to with what I said. I do think that they're just going to pick and choose different areas from all of this to make one zombies map. But this would kind of bring me into the other aspect of it, and what that would be is kind of the size of this map. And if we continue the idea that they're going to kind of cherry pick things from all these different things that I've already mentioned, I can't imagine that this map is going to be much bigger than Shinonuma Reborn. Like, I really don't think it's going to be that big of a map. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see a full-size zombies map to end this all off, but I just don't see that happening because of what we've seen as them reuse it, and also the fact that we have a skeleton crew working on this zombies game. It's not even the full Treyarch zombies team working on it. So because of that, I just don't think it's very likely that we see a full-fledged zombies map here. And honestly, I wouldn't expect anything more than a map that's slightly bigger than Shinonuma Reborn. I think it will be bigger, but really not by much. But now I want to move on to kind of the gameplay things we could talk about. And obviously I'm not going to talk about the things that are already set in stone, the game mechanics. Obviously we know how that all works, but what I kind of want to focus on instead is just kind of the Easter eggs, maybe the side Easter eggs, boss fight and stuff like that, because I do think that we actually have a little bit of hope here. And one of the other things I just literally didn't mention that I think is really hopeful is the wonder weapon, because I actually do think we are going to see an original wonder weapon for this map. And my reason for this is because if we look at all the other maps before it, there's not really that many maps that you could think from the past they could bring the wonder weapon from there into this one like they did with the DG2, because this is based in Egypt, and really the only Egypt map before this was 9. I know a lot of people don't realize 9 was based in Egypt, but it was. So if they did want to bring one back from the past, it would be the Scorpion Death of Orion. I don't think it's very likely at all, because even though there's been tie-ins to Chaos, I just don't think it would really fit that well, because the fact that it's kind of just the worst version of the DG2, which was in the last previous map. So I just don't think they would double dip like that. Maybe they would, I don't know. Regardless though, personally I think that we will see an original wonder weapon. Just hopefully it's not that same shield from Terra Maldicta. But then kind of brings us into the main Easter egg, and I just think we're going to see more of what we got in Shinonuma. And what that is, you know, some solid steps. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the steps in Shinonuma. They're fun at some times, but I do think that they're going to do a similar thing in Shinonuma to artificially extend the length of the Easter egg. And what I mean by that is that in Shinonuma, you actually can't really do the Easter egg till you get the DG2, and you can't get the DG2 till round 15 or get really lucky on the box past round 10. So regardless of which way you're going to do it, you have to at least go to round 10, but more than likely go past round 15 to do the Easter egg. And this of course artificially extends the Easter eggs time, which I think they kind of have to do with how limited these Easter eggs truly are. And this of course brings me to the culmination of this Easter egg, and I actually am a little bit excited because I do think there's a chance that the boss fight could actually be good. I know the Shinonuma Reborn's boss fight was a little bit underwhelming, but I do think it could actually be good, this boss fight, and I really hope they kind of make it a bit difficult. And let me explain why I think that there's a chance it could be like this. And my reason for this is because in this final map, we are going to be fighting Cortifex. Like, that's the whole culmination of the story. We're going to fight Cortifex, and I really think that we will be fighting a whole Cortifex in the map. It might be a humongous thing just floating around that we have to defeat. And I do think this is very likely because we do know there are models of Cortifex in the game, obviously because they've used him to make cutscenes. So he exists in the game, and so they could just use his model as the boss at the end. And hopefully they just design a really cool boss fight that is somewhat difficult to kind of send this game off, at least with something really cool at the end, because I really think there's a great opportunity for them here to make Cortifex a pretty cool boss fight at the end. And all this talk about Cortifex kind of makes me want to finish off this video with our last subject, and this is the story of this map. Now, I'm not going to go into a ton of depth in this video because I plan to make a full story video about what's going to be happening inside of this final map later, but generally I do want to give you guys an idea of probably what to expect from this story, because it's been kind of interesting so far. Because even though this story is supposed to be taking place in the same universe as Cold War, because they're supposed to be both the Dark Ether stories, right? But we have seen very little tie-ins between these two stories. Like, all we have connecting them is Vogel, and that's about it, which is crazy because there's been pretty much the same amount of connections between this story and Cold War as there are connections to this story and the Chaos story, which is a bit weird to say the very least. But I think this will all change in this map. I do think that we'll see a final tie-in here. We'll at least hear something. I don't know if we're going to see it, but we'll hear something about the Forsaken and how he ends up taking over the Dark Ether. And if I just want to throw a crazy idea out there, how I think maybe it could end up ending is that maybe we lose to Cortifex in the end. He goes to the Dark Ether to go take it over like he's been planning all this time, but when he gets there, he runs into the Forsaken, and the Forsaken's already devoured all of the other Dark Ether entities, already super powerful, and then he just claps up Cortifex too. But that's just a crazy guess right there at the end. Regardless though, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'd love to hear what you guys think about what I've said in this video. Are these the realistic expectations? Is this what you expect? And if they're different, I'd love to hear what you really expect out of this map down in the comment section below. Regardless though, that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys did enjoy this video, then definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff: a like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm gonna go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be. And laters, guys.